The encounter. The space station was alive with sound. Ships arrived and left every few minutes, their engines roaring like thunder across the metal docks. Merchants shouted about rare crystals, travelers hurried to their gates, and strange alien voices mixed together in the air like an endless storm. Among the noise, a single moment of silence caught his attention. At the far end of the hall, an old alien stood at the ticket counter. His skin was pale and wrinkled, like dried paper. His long arms shook as he placed a few dull credits on the counter. The machine beeped red. Not enough. The alien tried again, searching through his bag with trembling hands. More coins fell out, but still not enough. The crowd behind him grew restless. Some laughed. Others shouted for him to move aside. The old alien lowered his head in shame. His voice was soft, broken. "Please, I only need one more ticket. Just one. I must go home." But no one cared. The line grew longer, the voices harsher. A guard leaned closer and barked at him to leave. The alien's shoulders dropped as if the weight of the galaxy pressed down on him. He turned slowly, ready to walk away, ready to disappear into the crowd, and that was the moment the human noticed. He had been standing near the edge of the hall, just another traveler waiting for his own ship, but something inside him refused to look away. The old alien's shaking hands, the hopeless look in his eyes. It felt wrong. The human felt a pull in his chest, a voice inside whispering, "Help him." He stepped forward. The crowd shifted, confused. The guard raised an eyebrow. The human placed his hand on the counter and slid a small card across it. "I'll pay for his ticket." The machine beeped green. Transaction complete. Just like that, the old alien's passage was secured. The guard looked annoyed but said nothing. The crowd behind groaned, some muttering that humans were too soft, too foolish. But the old alien did not move. He stared at the human, his wide black eyes shining as if holding back 1,000 unspoken words. "Why?" the alien asked, voice weak but sharp, cutting through the noise of the station. "You do not know me. Why give your credits?" The human smiled lightly. "Because you needed it." Simple words, nothing more, but they struck deeper than any weapon. The alien's face changed. His back straightened a little. His trembling slowed. For the first time, he looked less like a beggar and more like something else, something hidden. He took the ticket from the counter with careful fingers, but before he turned away, he leaned close to the human. "You will not regret this," he whispered. The words carried no anger, no threat, but a strange weight, heavy, ancient. The human felt a shiver crawl down his spine. He wanted to ask what the alien meant, but the old being had already disappeared into the moving crowd, lost among the thousands of travelers. The hall returned to normal. Voices rose, merchants shouted, ships roared into space. Yet for the human, everything felt different now. He looked down at his empty hands, the credits he had just spent gone forever. It was not much, but still. The alien's words echoed in his mind. "You will not regret this." Why did that sound less like gratitude and more like a promise? He sat on a bench near the window, trying to forget it. His transport was still 30 minutes away. He should have felt calm, but instead he felt the silence again. The silence before something happens. His chest tightened. He looked out the massive glass wall of the station, into the dark ocean of stars. For a moment all seemed calm. Then the lights flickered. A long alarm echoed through the hall. Not the sharp alarm of a fire, not the quick alarm of a lost child. This one was deep, shaking the walls, vibrating in the bones. The crowd froze. Some screamed. Others pressed close to the glass, pointing. The human followed their eyes, and his breath stopped. The stars outside shifted, warped, as if space itself bent under pressure. Then from the black shapes appeared. Huge shapes, not one, not two. 3 giant warships broke from hyperspace, their hulls glowing with ancient symbols, their weapons locked and ready. The hall fell into chaos. Guards shouted, alarms screamed, louder, and travelers pushed each other aside, running for safety. But the human did not move. He could only hear one thing louder than the alarms, louder than the panic, the whisper of the old alien. "You will not regret this." The departure. The alarms did not stop. They grew louder, faster, until the whole station felt alive with panic. The human stood frozen, his eyes locked on the 3 massive warships outside the glass. Their shapes were like floating fortresses, each one large enough to swallow a city. Their silver hulls reflected the stars, and strange glowing lines moved across their surface like veins of fire. These were not cargo ships. These were not explorers. These were war machines. Inside the hall, chaos ruled. Merchants abandoned their stalls, letting precious goods crash to the floor. Families grabbed their children and ran for the nearest shelters. Guards raised rifles, shouting orders that no one followed. The human's heart pounded in his chest. He had seen battleships before, but nothing like this. These ships were different. They were old, ancient even, but powerful. Every curve of their design spoke of a civilization that had mastered war long before humans left Earth. Then a voice filled the hall. It was not a voice from the speakers. It was not a guard shouting. This voice came from everywhere at once, soft but strong, calm but unshakable. "Where is the one who helped our elder?" The words vibrated in the bones of everyone present. People stopped running. Some dropped to their knees in fear. The guards looked at each other confused, weapons shaking in their hands. Elder? The human thought. His mind raced. The old alien? The one at the ticket counter? The voice repeated, louder this time. "Where is the one who showed kindness when all others turned away?" The crowd whispered. Eyes darted in every direction. Fear turned into curiosity, then into suspicion. Who was this elder? Why did these terrifying ships care about him? The human's chest grew tight. He wanted to hide, to disappear into the crowd, but something inside him refused. His act of kindness had been small, almost meaningless to him. Yet now it felt like a stone dropped into a vast ocean, creating waves he could not control. The guards moved quickly, forming groups, scanning faces, shouting for people to line up. The panic returned, mixed with anger. Some travelers shouted that whoever this helper was should step forward before everyone was killed. Others swore they knew nothing. The human sat still, silent, fighting the storm inside his mind. Should he say something? Should he run? Every instinct screamed at him to stay quiet, but the whisper of the elder's last words burned in his memory. "You will not regret this." Then, without warning, the air around him changed. It grew heavy, as if gravity itself pressed down harder. The lights dimmed, flickering in and out. A sharp cold ran through the hall. People gasped and turned. From the far corridor, a figure walked slowly, calmly. It was him, the old alien. But something was different. His body no longer shook. His steps no longer dragged. His eyes, once tired, now glowed faintly, like twin stars hidden beneath the surface of his skin. The crowd parted without being asked. Guards raised their weapons, but none dared fire. The elder walked through the silence, straight to the center of the hall. His voice was quiet, but every ear heard it. "This human," he said, pointing his long finger. "This one gave what none of you would. A simple act, a simple gift. Yet it means more than you know." Every head turned. Every eye landed on the human. He felt his blood run cold. His secret was no longer secret. His kindness, once small, now burned like a beacon for all to see. The guards moved closer, rifles aimed at him. But the elder raised his hand, and suddenly, every weapon in the room powered down. Sparks flew as if the guns themselves bowed to his command. The human's mouth went dry. He wanted to speak, but no words came. The elder stepped closer. His face softened again and his voice lowered. "You showed kindness when the galaxy has forgotten what kindness means. For that, you are chosen." Outside the glass, the warships shifted, their lights brightening. Massive doors opened on their sides, revealing landing ramps glowing with blue energy. Slowly, gracefully, the ships descended closer to the station until their shadows covered everything. The crowd panicked once more. But this time not from fear of death. This time, it was awe. The elder stretched his arms wide. Our ships have come, not for war, not for conquest, but for the one who gave without asking. The human's hands shook. His heart raced faster than ever before. He wanted to shout, to deny it, to push it all away. But deep inside something else grew. A spark. A question. Why him? Why this moment? He remembered the look in the elder's eyes when he first gave the credits. Not weakness, not shame. Something hidden. Something waiting. Now it was awake. The elder turned back to him and spoke softly so only he could hear. You bought me a ticket, but you purchased something far greater. Destiny. The human swallowed hard, staring at the giant ships outside. His life was about to change forever, and as the ramps of the warships touched the dock with a sound like thunder, he knew there was no turning back. The revelation. The 3 warships hovered like silent mountains of metal. Their shadows swallowed the station's glass walls, turning day into night. Lights flickered inside, alarms still howled, but no one moved. The crowd stood frozen, staring at the old alien, at the elder. The elder's glowing eyes scanned the hall. His presence pressed on everyone like invisible weight. Even the guards, trained for battle, lowered their weapons, unable to resist the strange force that surrounded him. He was no longer a weak traveler begging for coins. He was something ancient, something powerful. The human's pulse thundered in his ears. He still sat on the bench, his body stiff, his breath shallow. All eyes were on him. Whispers moved through the crowd like fire. That's the one. The human helped him. Why would ships like that come for a simple traveler? What kind of elder is he? The guards stepped forward, uncertain. Their commander shouted, Stay where you are. This station belongs to the council. State your purpose, elder. The elder raised his hand. Silence swept across the hall. His voice was calm, but it carried the weight of a storm. You demand answers. Very well. But you will listen. He looked to the human first. Not the guards, not the crowd, just the human. This one gave without reason. This one gave when the galaxy looked away. That act has awakened what we have been searching for. The crowd muttered. The commander stiffened. What are you searching for? The elder's eyes glowed brighter. His words slowed, deepened. For the heart that remembers compassion, for the spirit that refuses to trade kindness for profit, for the one who can decide the future of stars. The human's stomach twisted. Decide the future of stars? He was no leader, no warrior. He was just a traveler who gave a stranger some credits. How could that mean anything? The commander tried to interrupt. You have no authority here. Before he could finish, the glass wall shook. Outside, the warships lit up with brilliant energy, lines of blue fire running across their bodies. Weapons glowed, humming with restrained power. A single warning shot blasted into the empty void of space, lighting the darkness like a newborn sun. The hall shook. The commander fell silent. The message was clear. The elder was not alone. The elder spoke again, his voice softer now. We tested you all. For centuries we have walked among your kind watching. Most turn away. Most demand something in return. But not this one. He pointed to the human again. The whispers grew louder. Some people gasped in respect. Others glared with jealousy. A few shouted angrily, demanding to know why a mere human was chosen. The elder ignored them all. His eyes locked onto the human. You wonder why. You believe you are no one. But greatness is not born from power. It is born from choice. And you chose kindness. The human's mouth opened, but no words came out. His throat was dry. His mind was fire. Why me? He thought again. Why not someone wiser, someone stronger? The elder's voice answered as if reading his thoughts. Because strength without compassion destroys. Wisdom without compassion deceives. Only kindness can unite. The hall grew still. The words echoed in every heart, even in those who tried to deny them. Then the elder lifted his hand again. A faint light glowed from his palm, spreading across the floor. A shimmering image appeared in the air, a projection of galaxies spinning, stars burning, and countless civilizations scattered like dust across the void. The elder's voice lowered, almost a whisper. There is war coming. A war older than your history. A war that will burn worlds to ash, and only a heart that gives freely can end it. The crowd gasped. The commander shook his head, muttering that it was impossible, but his voice carried no strength. The human stared at the vision, his body trembling. War? Galaxies burning? His mind screamed to deny it, but his soul knew it was true. The elder closed his hand, and the vision vanished. The hall fell into silence once more. Finally, the elder turned back to the warships. His voice rang out like thunder. You asked where the one who helped me is. Here, he stands before you, and he will decide. The ships outside shifted again, their ramps lowering, their lights blazing. A low hum filled the air as if the entire station waited for one single choice. The human felt hundreds of eyes burning into him. Fear, awe, jealousy, hope. Every emotion pressed down on him at once. He wanted to run, to disappear, but his legs refused to move. The elder stepped closer, placing a trembling hand on the human's shoulder. Despite the glow, despite the power, the touch was gentle. You did not know who I was. You did not ask for reward, and that is why you are chosen. What happens next is your decision. The human swallowed hard. His life was no longer his own. The galaxy had found him, and nothing would ever be the same. The test. The hall was silent, but the silence felt heavier than sound. Every person, every alien, every guard stared at the human. Even the children clung to their parents, wide-eyed, sensing something beyond their understanding. Outside the glass, the three warships hovered like guardians, their glowing lights pulsing in rhythm as if waiting for a signal. The elder raised his hand slowly, his long fingers stretched toward the ships. In answer, the ramps of all three vessels lowered, glowing blue as they touched the station dock with a deep metallic echo. Then from within, figures appeared. At first they were only shadows against the blinding light of the ships. But as they stepped forward, gasps spread through the hall. They were warriors, tall, armored, and powerful. Their armor was black, but alive with streaks of glowing silver. Strange symbols glowed across their chests, shifting and moving like living things. Each warrior carried a weapon unlike anything the human had seen. Long staffs that hummed with energy, sharper than any blade, deadlier than any gun. The crowd backed away in fear. Even the guards, armed with blasters and rifles, lowered their weapons instinctively. The warriors' presence was too much. They were not soldiers. They were something greater. And then, something unbelievable happened. The first warrior stopped, in front of the elder. He looked down at the human, then bent one knee, his head lowered. A bow. The second warrior did the same. Then the third. Then all of them, one by one, until the line of armored giants knelt before the human. The hall erupted in whispers and cries. They're bowing to him. A human? Impossible. What does it mean? The human's face burned. His heart pounded so loud he thought everyone could hear it. He wanted to deny it, to shout that this was a mistake. He had done nothing to deserve such respect. He was no leader, no warrior, no chosen one. Just a traveler who had spent a few credits. The elder's voice rang out above the noise. Do you see now? Our people kneel not for power, not for wealth, not for force, they kneel for kindness. And this human has passed the first test. The human shook his head. No, I didn't pass anything. I only helped you because it was the right thing to do. The elder's glowing eyes softened. And that human is the test. The word struck him harder than any weapon. His body trembled. The crowd grew quiet again, listening. But then the elder's tone changed. His voice grew darker, heavier. Kindness is the beginning, but strength of heart must be proven. Every chosen one faces the second test, and you, human, will face it now. The floor shook. A circle of light appeared around the human, glowing from the ground itself. The crowd gasped and stepped back. The circle rose like a cage humming with energy. The human's breath caught. What? What is this? The elder did not answer. Instead, one of the kneeling warriors stood towering over him. The warrior's staff glowed brighter, its edge sharp with light. He stepped into the circle. The elder's voice boomed. Show us if your heart is only soft, or if it is strong. Show us you can stand, even when fear surrounds you. The human froze. His legs were weak. He had no weapon, no training, nothing. How could he fight a warrior built for war? The warrior raised his staff. The crowd screamed, but the elder raised his hand, calming them. This is not a test of death, this is a test of courage. He must not win with strength, but with truth. The warrior's attack came fast. The staff slammed down and the human dove aside, barely, escaping. Sparks flew as the weapon struck the floor. The human rolled, his chest burning, his mind racing. Truth? Courage? What does that even mean? Another strike. The staff cut the air inches from his face. He stumbled back, his hands raised. Stop, I don't want to fight. The warrior paused, then tilted his head, almost curious. But he did not lower his weapon. He advanced again. The human's heart raced. His body screamed to run. But he couldn't. If he failed, if he gave up, what would happen? Would the elder abandon him? Would the ships leave? He stood his ground. His legs shook, but he didn't move away this time. The warrior lifted his weapon high, ready to strike again. The crowd cried out in fear, but the human raised his voice. I won't fight you. Not because I'm weak, not because I'm afraid, but because fighting isn't the answer. I helped the elder because it was right, and I will stand here unarmed because that is right too. Silence. The warrior froze. The weapon stopped midair. For a long moment, nothing moved. Then slowly, the warrior lowered his staff. He turned to the elder, then bowed deeply to the human. The circle of light vanished. The elder's eyes shone, brighter than ever. His voice carried both pride and relief. He has passed. He has proven the courage of peace, not the cowardice of fear. The hall exploded in sound. Cheers, shouts, disbelief. Some wept, some raged, but all knew something had changed. The human stood breathless, his legs weak, his chest heavy. He had done nothing but speak, yet the warriors treated him as if he had won the greatest battle. The elder placed his hand on the human's shoulder once again. You are ready for the choice. The human shivered. He did not know what choice was coming. But deep down, he felt the universe itself was waiting. The choice. The circle of light faded, and the warrior stepped back. The hall was filled with whispers, shock, and awe. The human stood in the center, breathing hard, his legs trembling, yet still standing. His body had not fought, but his words had carried the weight of battle. The elder's glowing eyes locked on him. There was pride in them, but also something else, something heavier, a shadow of sadness, as if he knew what must come next. The elder raised his voice so all could hear. The test is complete. This human has proven not only kindness but courage. He did not lift a weapon. He did not answer hate with hate. He stood on truth. And for that, the universe now waits for his choice. The crowd gasped. Some shouted angrily, others cheered. Many whispered, confused. Choice? What choice? The human's mouth went dry. His voice was quiet, shaking. What choice? The elder stepped closer, his hand still resting gently on the human's shoulder. His words were slow, heavy, and each one felt like a door opening into something vast and terrifying. There are two paths before you, the elder said. One leads back to the life you know, You may return to your ship, continue your journey, and no one will fault you. You will be remembered as kind but nothing more. The ships will leave and your days will pass in peace. The human's heart jumped. For a brief moment, relief washed over him. Yes, he thought, that's it. That's what I want. To go back. To be normal again. But the elder was not finished. The second path, he continued, leads into the unknown. If you step onto our ship, you will leave behind this life forever. You will walk among stars unseen by your people. You will face danger, war, and truths that will break you. But you will also carry the chance to unite what has been broken for ages. The human froze. His mind screamed, danger, war, forever. None of those words sounded like a reward. They sounded like chains. The elder leaned closer, his voice lowering, so only the human could hear. Understand, human. If you choose the first path, no shame will follow you. But if you choose the second, nothing will be the same again. The galaxy will bend around your steps, and everything you love may be tested. The words struck him deeper than any weapon. His stomach turned, his chest felt heavy. Around him the crowd waited, silent, holding their breath. Even the giant warships outside seemed still, their lights dimmed, as if listening. The human whispered,
"Why me? I'm nobody. I don't command armies. I don't know politics."
"I don't even understand your people. Why me?" The elder's answer was soft, almost tender. Because leaders who seek power bring only destruction. Leaders who seek peace bring only silence. But leaders who never seek to lead, they bring truth. And you, human, never asked for this. That is why you must decide. The words fell into him like stones sinking into deep water. He remembered the moment at the ticket counter, the small act, the quiet kindness. It had been nothing to him then. But to the elder, to these ships, it meant everything. The commander of the station guards shouted, breaking the silence. "This is madness. He's just a man. You can't give him such power." The elder's eyes flashed, silencing the commander instantly. "We do not give him power. We give him choice. That is greater." The human looked out the glass at the stars. The warships hovered like waiting giants. The crowd stared like he was some hero. But inside he felt only fear. If he stepped onto those ships, he would be leaving everything he knew. His home, his planet, his people. But another thought burned inside him. What if the elder was right? What if war was coming? What if his small act of kindness had opened a door that no one else could walk through? Could he really turn away? His mind spun. His body shook. He closed his eyes, hearing again the whisper from the elder the first time they met. "You will not regret this." The elder stepped back, raising his arms. His voice filled the hall once more. "Now, human, choose. Return to your life of peace, or step forward into destiny." The hall went silent. Even the children stopped crying. Even the alarms seemed to fade. Only the human's footsteps could be heard as he stood tall, his heart beating like thunder. One step. The crowd gasped. 2 steps. The elder's eyes glowed brighter. 3 steps. The human stopped at the edge of the dock. The warships loomed above. Him, their ramps glowing, waiting. He turned once, looking back at the crowd, at the guards, at the faces filled with fear and hope. Then he turned to the elder. His voice was quiet but strong. "I don't know what waits for me. I don't know if I'm strong enough. But if what you say is true, I can't walk away." The elder's face broke into a smile. For the first time, it was not the smile of mystery but of relief. "Then your choice is made." The warriors rose as one, striking their staffs against the floor in a single thunderous sound. The ramps of the ships glowed brighter. The human stood at the edge, knowing his old life was behind him. And as he took his first step onto the ship, the elder whispered again, only for him to hear, "The war is coming, and now you are part of it." The journey begins. The ramp glowed under his feet as the human stepped onto the alien ship. The hum of energy pulsed through the metal, rising into his bones, making his skin prickle. He turned once, just for a moment. Behind him the hall was filled with faces, some filled with awe, others with jealousy, some with fear. Guards stood frozen, helpless. Merchants clutched their goods. Children hid in their parents' arms. All of them stared at him as though he had crossed into legend. But the human knew the truth. He was no legend. He was just a traveler who had paid for a stranger's ticket. And now the weight of galaxies pressed against his chest. The elder walked beside him, slow but steady. His glowing eyes softened, almost gentle. Do not fear what you leave behind. Fear only what you might ignore ahead. The words wrapped around the human like a riddle. He wanted to ask what they meant, but the ramp pulled him deeper into the ship. The doors closed with a deep, final thud. The noise of the station faded, replaced by silence. For a moment, the human felt trapped. No way back. No turning around. Only forward. The silence broke. A low hum spread through the ship, steady, powerful. Lights glowed along the walls, patterns of alien symbols shifting like rivers of silver. The air was clean but heavy with something strange, something alive. The elder placed a hand on the wall. The symbols shifted beneath his touch, rearranging into new shapes. A door slid open, revealing a vast chamber. The human gasped. The chamber was massive, larger than any hall he had ever seen. The walls curved upward like the inside of a cathedral, glowing with faint blue light. In the center stood a great round table, but not of wood or metal. It seemed carved from light itself, floating gently above the floor. Around it stood figures, more aliens, tall and regal, their armor shining like starlight. The moment he entered, they turned as one, their eyes fixed on him. The elder spoke, his voice steady. He has chosen. The warriors struck their staffs against the floor in unison. A thunderous echo filled the chamber, vibrating in the human's chest. It was not applause. It was acknowledgement, recognition. The human swallowed hard. His hands trembled, but he clenched them into fists. He would not show weakness. One of the armored figures stepped forward. His voice was deep, his tone sharp. He is fragile. He is untested. How can this one carry what we guard? The elder answered calmly. He carries what none of us can, a heart that gives freely. The figure stared at the human for a long moment, then stepped back without a word. The elder guided the human to the floating table. As he touched its surface, the light shifted, spreading into a map. Stars appeared, galaxies spun, and strange shapes floated like shadows across the projection. The elder pointed. This is the war that comes. The human's eyes widened. Across the stars, red scars stretched like fire, consuming planets, devouring entire systems. Dark ships moved like swarms, endless and merciless. What is that? The human whispered. The elder's face darkened. The devourers, an ancient enemy. They do not conquer, they do not enslave, they consume, and they have awakened once more. The human's chest tightened. He wanted to deny it, to turn away. But the images burned into his mind, worlds turning to ash, fleets torn apart, billions of lives extinguished in silence. The elder's voice lowered. We have strength, we have armies, but we do not have unity. Our people are divided by pride. Only one outside us, one without greed, can bring them together. That is why you were chosen. The words struck like thunder. The human shook his head. Me? I'm not a leader. I don't even understand your wars, your people, The elder raised his hand. Do you think leaders are born knowing? No. They are born by choosing. You chose kindness. You chose courage. Now you must choose again. Will you walk with us? Or will you stand aside and let darkness spread? The human's throat felt dry, his voice cracked. And if I say no? The elder's glowing eyes softened, almost sad. Then you return to your people. You live your life. But when the devourers come, and they will, you will remember that you could have stood in the fire and chosen to fight. The chamber grew cold. The human's body shook. He stared at the map, at the red scars across the stars. He thought of Earth, of the small blue planet spinning quietly in the endless dark. If the war reached them, they would have no chance. He took a deep breath. If I go with you, if I stand in this fight, what happens to me? The elder's eyes glowed brighter. His voice carried both warning and hope. You will be tested. You will suffer. You may fall. But if you endure, you will change the fate of galaxies. The human closed his eyes, the sound of his own heartbeat filling his ears. Fear screamed inside him, but under the fear burned something else. A spark. The same spark that had made him step forward at the ticket counter. The same spark that had made him stand unarmed in the test. He opened his eyes. His voice was steady now. Then I will walk with you. The chamber shook with the sound of staffs striking the floor. The warriors bowed. The elder's face lit with pride. Outside, the 3 warships roared to life, their engines burning like suns. The station behind them shrank as they rose into the dark. The human stood at the center of the chamber, staring at the map of burning galaxies. His journey had begun, and though he felt fear, he also felt something stronger. Purpose. The final. Suspense. The warships tore through the void, engines blazing like suns. Stars streaked past the windows, bending and stretching as the ships leapt into faster-than-light travel. The human stood near a wide observation window, his reflection faint against the endless dark. Behind him, alien warriors moved like shadows, silent and watchful. Ahead of him, infinity. He pressed his hand against the glass. Only hours ago, he had been just another traveler on a busy station. Now he was aboard ships older than human history, sailing into war he could not yet understand. The weight of it pressed on his shoulders, but deep inside something else stirred, something between fear and wonder. The elder walked up beside him, his glowing eyes fixed on the horizon of stars. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then the elder said softly, "Do you feel it?" The human frowned. "Feel what?" "The shift," the elder answered. "The universe knows when destiny begins. Every choice changes a path, but some choices change all paths." The human looked away, uneasy. "I'm no destiny. I'm just a man who gave you some credits." The elder's voice grew firmer. "You are more than you think. You are the key that unlocked the doors of the future, and now those doors open wide." The words made the human's chest tighten. He wanted to argue, to deny it, but he could not. Not after everything he had seen. The chamber behind them stirred. The council of warriors gathered once more around the glowing table of light. Galaxies spun across its surface, stars burning, shadows spreading like fire. The elder guided the human toward it. As he approached, the warriors struck their staffs, in unison. The sound echoed through the chamber like thunder. The human stopped, his pulse quickening. The elder spoke loudly now, his voice filling the hall. "This human has chosen to walk with us. He carries the spark of compassion, but compassion alone is not enough. He must see what is to come." The map above the table shifted. Worlds appeared, green and shining. Cities glowed like jewels across their surfaces. But then, a shadow crept across them. Black ships swarmed like locusts, their bodies sharp, their movements endless. One by one, the glowing worlds turned dark. The human's stomach twisted. "That's them? The devourers?" The elder nodded. "Yes, they have awakened. Even now their fleet spread, silent and merciless. They are not conquerors, they do not build, they only consume." The vision changed again. This time the human saw Earth. His chest froze. Blue oceans. White clouds. A small, fragile world spinning alone. His home. The shadow of the devourers fell across it. No, the human cried, stepping forward. Stop it. The elder placed a hand on his shoulder. This is only vision, a possible future, but it will come to pass. If we fail. The human's breath came fast, his hands trembling, his voice was raw. Then we can't fail. Whatever it takes, we can't let them reach Earth, or any world. The elder's eyes glowed brighter. Then you begin to understand. The map faded, leaving the chamber in silence. For a moment, only the hum of the ship filled the air. Then, without warning, alarms rang out. A warrior shouted, his voice sharp. Contact! Enemy signatures ahead! The human's heart dropped. He rushed to the observation window. Out in the void, dark shapes appeared. Sleek, jagged, alive with crimson light. Not massive fleets, but scouts. The Devourers had found them. The warships shifted, their engines flaring. Weapons lit up along their sides, humming with deadly power. Warriors rushed into formation, their staffs glowing. The human felt his throat tighten. It was no vision now, no illusion. This was real. The elder's voice cut through the chaos. You wish to act, human, then act now. Watch, learn, and remember. This is the fire you have chosen to walk into. The enemy ships moved fast, streaking through space like knives of shadow. Beams of red energy slashed across the void. The alien warships answered, their cannons firing streams of blue fire that lit the darkness like lightning. Explosions bloomed across the stars. The human gripped the edge of the table, his knuckles white. His body screamed to run, to hide. But his eyes locked on the battle. He could not look away. A warrior stood beside him, tall and steady. Do not fear, human. Our ships are strong. The elder, however, did not look calm. His voice was low, grim. Strength is not enough. The Devourers are patient. They will test us again and again until they find our weakness. The human swallowed hard. He wanted to speak, but the words died in his throat. The battle raged on outside. One enemy ship was destroyed, then another. But more appeared from the darkness, slipping through the void like shadows. The human's stomach sank. It was endless. Then suddenly, one of the Devourer ships broke through the line. It raced toward them, its weapons glowing bright. The humans' breath stopped. The window filled with crimson light. For a moment it felt like the end. And then, silence. The enemy ship froze, caught in a beam of light from the elder's hands. His eyes blazed, brighter than suns. The ship shook, twisted, then exploded in a flash of fire. The chamber fell silent. The warriors bowed their heads. The elder turned to the human, his voice heavy. You see now, this is only the beginning. The Devourers will come in greater numbers. Worlds will burn. And when the final war begins, you must be ready to stand where no one else can. The human's chest rose and fell, his heart racing. Fear burned inside him, but so did something else. Resolve. He whispered almost to himself, then I'll be ready. The elder's face grew solemn. His glowing eyes locked onto the human's. Be ready soon, human, for the universe does not wait. The ship surged forward, vanishing into the dark. The battle was over, for now. But the war had only begun, and the human, once an ordinary traveler, now stood at the center of it.